Well, we have finally arrived at Perdurance. We have quite a bit to do here. On approach, Perdurance looks like an opulent mansion caught partway through a genteel explosion, each constituent set of rooms accounted for but separate and out of place. Each is connected in a rough circle by narrow, winding passages. The steep roofs are topped with shingled turrets and precarious towers. The elegantly disassembled country house perches on top of a soot-stained, windowless factory whose chimneys belch gouts of smoke and fire. Enter the parlor. The windows in the parlor are shuttered, the lights stained with pale yellows, blushing pinks, bruised violets. Lit with the illusion of dawn, or perhaps dusk, you see a room cluttered with stiff-backed armchairs and decorative chases, set against a savagely floral wallpaper in shades of burgundy, violet, and that is a fucking sentence. Savagely floral. Burgundy, violet, Brunswick green. Like, even if maybe the game loop isn't your shtick, the writing of this game is on point. A portrait of the Empress, unsmiling, hangs in an ornate gilt frame. A few visitors mill about, casting speculative glances at the exasperated butler while they pretend to examine the decor. Alright, first step, court report. The visitors are puffed up with importance and embarrassingly eager to tell you how they obtained an invitation to the Half-Light Mask. Some through patronage or long service, others through less salubrious means? Salubrious? What does that mean? Healthy. Talk about a dime word to say a penny. All are desperate to spend a day in the company of the glittering inhabitants of Perdurance, the brightest stars in Albion's firmament. From here, the sons and daughters of Her Majesty's most important courtiers reside in eternal youth and sophistication. Ooh, stand for parliament. Ooh. The debutante. Ooh. That's right. The storyline thing is we're becoming a member of parliament because the previous minister stepped off of the Sky Island in a drunken stupor and fell, and we were the closest person. So then we were given the opportunity to be elected. So that's cool. But hey, welcome to the Ziggurat, Draco Occult. I hope you enjoy your time here. Oh no, I failed. The polls are not in your favor. Your opponents appear to have the will of the people behind them. Fortunately, it is a long way from here to Parliament. You suspect that it will not be long before the winner tires of their new position and steps down. Let's talk to the exasperated butler. Yes, and? He demands. He leads through a leather-covered logbook to make it clear that he is, in fact, terribly busy. What is this place? He sighs. This is Perdurance, home of the Half-Light Mask. Here Her Majesty has created a single perfect day wherein the finest examples of the Empire's youth may reside for all time. At the day's end, there is a grand ball. When it is over, the day is spun anew with fresh hours and all begins again. No one who resides here will age even a single day. Visitors are permitted, of course. Relatives and a select few others, as long as they have an invitation. Says pointedly. How does one get in exactly? If one must ask how to obtain an invitation, one probably shouldn't have it. Typically, they are granted but to the relatives of residents. However, the Ministry of Public Decency may award invitations to those who have served in the Empire. We also receive an unusual number of visitors from the Royal Society. An invitation permits the bearer entry to a single instance of the mask from morning to evening. You thank him, but he clearly wishes to impress upon you the grandeur of the matter. It is a great honor to be invited here, and an even greater one to be rewarded with a residence. The Empress is most generous with her favored servants. He gives you a sharp look and adds, and we are all her servants, are we not? Just because I'm a revolutionary who fought against the Empire in the Battle of New Winchester, you just assume that I am not a loyal subject. And really, Mr. Butler person, sir, I find that quite offensive. Okay? Who is permitted to reside here? Why, the sons and daughters of Her Majesty's most valued, most trusted counselors and confidants. The residents want for nothing. They need fear nothing. They will not grow old or know care or worry. They will be preserved forever in the flower of their youth and innocence. These are the gifts that Her renewed Majesties to grant. Hydrate and stretch. Fine, fine, Glottal, fine, Glottal. But while I hydrate and stretch, whatcha? You can go give Glottal a follow, because they also play some great thinking games and fantastic art upon canvas. Even the occasional live 2D creation, sometimes incredibly cursed, but all of them made with love. Even if it's a love perhaps only Picasso would truly appreciate. I'm still flabbergasted how you were able to make all those models for the charity drive a couple weeks back. Both drawing the doodles and then doing the rig. Like, I know it was like a scrungly rig, but you did so dang well, and they have so much charm to them. It was a really fun week. Still exhausted from them? Yeah, I'm not surprised. Definitely self-care, my dude. I hope you're having a good evening. Can the debutantes leave? Oh, why on earth do they want to do that? To do so would just seem remarkably ungrateful. Goodbye, he says, in the tones of one who has been relieved of a terrible burden. No rest for the wicked, unfortunately, but you're having a good evening. Know that feel. All right, let's hand over our invitation. Through the Empress, straight on till morning. The portrait of the Empress swings open, and a succession of brightly dressed debutantes, sour-faced chaperones, and prim servants stumble into the parlor. They barely have a moment to rest their feet and take a sip of tea before a panel of wallpaper slides open, the maw of a sharply curving passage just visible in the dawn light. The exasperated butler snatches the invitation from your hands. Remember, your invitation only lasts one day. It is a warning, but it sounds a little wistful. It propels you forward to join the court in its procession. You emerge a little tender into the morning. All right, so we have another timed situation. Okay, so we need to let's work with the princess first. Dearest mother showed me the plans, says the princess. The engineers should be back here engineering. I do so wish to observe them. Let's rush. She gestures at a seemingly solid wall and urges you to follow. All right. The loom chambers below stairs thunder and smoke. There are rows upon rows of hour looms, each tended by weavers with their hair pinned tightly back. The heat of the cooking combines with the shudder of machinery in pandemonium. Watching over it all are the theoretical engineers, access to them barred. Engineers only, states the sign in an angry font. We could pose as an engineer. We have some rats who are an engineer. Gather the rats! The rodents will let us in. While the rats clearly unnerve everyone, when their knowledge of matters mechanical becomes clear, it's easy to arrange a meeting with the engineers who keep Perdurance trapped in its single perfect day. The incognito princess is enchanted by the turning machinery, and the engineers are as enchanted with her. They form a hive of activity around her, competing to answer her questions. She seems unsatisfied and presses harder. Change is one constant, though, she says. How do you truly prevent it? By what methods does change try to escape your bondage? She realizes that you're still there and dismisses you, saying she can find her own way back. All right, let's go back to the mask. And now we do have the rats in hand, so let's go look for the fourth rat, Wilma. A bored chaperone answers your question. Oh, the little fat one. No, she'll only come out later. Her owner doesn't wake up till the afternoon. Hidden in your sleeves, Cinders quivers with indignation. Alright. Let's charm... So we don't want the debutantes. That's not our style. I would like to get favor with the servants, but we have really shit hearts. So let's charm the chaperones? The chaperones are more than servants, but decidedly less than debutantes. You're a first-hand witness to their awkward position. A servant makes a claim of impropriety towards a debutante, who laughs it off. A chaperone hurries over to prevent the incident from escalating into a scene, but there are no witnesses. She casts you an imploring look. The consequences would be far less for you, a visitor, only here for a day, than for her, who must remain here always. Who will you support? The servant. The debutante flushes and is escorted away by the chaperone. They will miss the evening's ball. The servant thanks you before the chaperone ushers them back to work. We have one servant's favor. One of the dowager duchesses rings a bell. Conversation halts with a practiced suddenness. Morning is over. Everyone arrays themselves in a procession according to their station. The dowager duchesses at the front, debutantes just behind, then chaperones and visitors and the servants bringing up the rear. There's much jostling for position within each group, according to rules that you cannot begin to fathom. You enter the narrow and twisting passage, stumbling in the enveloping darkness as the debutantes giggle and shout. With each step, the shrieks of hours being spun backwards resonates through your body, leaving you shaking and worn. You emerge, blinking, into a dazzle of afternoon. Here, the curtains are pulled back with tasseled ropes, allowing the clockwork sun to spill its stark gold into the dining room. The long table is set with rows of gleaming china dinner plates, patterned with delicate florals. Silver cutlery, polished to a high shine, gleams atop a pristine tablecloth. Servants pour in endless glasses of watered wine, or carry in the next in a stream of elaborate dishes. All right, let's get Wilma to speak to the brigade. A plump white rat sits in a little golden cage. A dandy is idly feeding her silvers of Cambert. He's happy for you to confer with his pet. This will always advance the story, but failure can impact Wilma's part in it. I see. You fucker. I don't know how to save scum in this game, so we're just going to eat the loss. I don't know what it changes, but I really wanted to succeed. We had a 75% chance, so that's frustrating. Wilma patters from the dandy's palm to yours. Her whiskers twitch as Albrecht emerges from your sleeve. You're here from my part of the number? Albrecht nods solemnly. Wilma presses close to him. Ein Schnurrscher sind Ungflecht, mein Lieber, she whispers. The number is... You don't make out her words. She gives Albrecht a playful nip as she withdraws. Is Cinders here? Wilma asks you. Something moves in your sleeve, but nothing emerges. Wilma nods, wishes you luck, and returns to her cage. Pretty sure I butchered that German, so, you know, we'll just move on. Not all stories have a smooth or straight path to its end. That's true. The thing is, though, is while this does have a lineage system, there are things that persist and continue. And it's been so long since I played this game. I think if you get to a character storyline all the way to the end, you can't do it again. So you would have to completely erase your entire save file and start from scratch to revisit the storyline, which is, it's a bit frustrating because some of the stuff is nice to have persisting because they can have high monetary like bars. They're like one-time payments, but hi, generic NPC. We've been talking to a lot of very not generic NPCs, but now we've got a generic one, and really it's the most not generic NPC one could generically not generic interact with in a generic non-generic diegetic fashion. So hi, I hope you're having a fine evening. I hope you had a fine stream, but now it is time for you to enter piss.exe, navigate to the dialogue choice of drinking water. I don't know how you have things coded, but you know, however you manage to find your way there, just watch out for any bugs that might happen. If y'all don't know generic NPC, they are amazing. They have a fun little 3D model that they play around with, and then it's always a fun time seeing the little games that they play through. So thank you for stopping on by, Jen. If y'all are arriving here and don't know me, I am Dreki Ormer, the Draconic Serpent, the Flightless Dragon, or simply a worm on the internet. Today we're playing Sunless Skies. Although I might be wrapping up not too much longer. We finally got, like, I wanted to get to this, like, at the first thing on our stream was getting to this place. Because there's a lot of quest stuff that needed me to come here. And we finally got here. So I'm pretty much gonna, like, do all the quest stuff. So we're at a good stopping point. Don't know how long it's gonna take, but that's my plan. Jen has impeccable tasting. It's absolutely... certainly has seen some really fun things that I hadn't heard about before. Like I remember one time there was like, it was like a puzzle game, but I remember you like...
I drink the water, and then I have to go put the water somewhere else 5 minutes later. All hours of the day, all hours of the night, no matter what I'm doing, my life is interrupted by piss.
You interrupted my life with piss! Also, hi, Kylos. I didn't miss you. Welcome on by. Durangar, I know you're lurking there, spinning me around. Hi and bye, Durangar. That was great. That was great. That was great. The sound effect, random sound effect, always works. Welcome, I can't believe, making me read here. I am exhausted, but the hydrate redeem got me. I am pretty proud of the hydrate redeem. I have, like, I want to make some more, a little bit more involved redeems like that. But one is like designing them, and the other part is getting the technological implementation. I might have finally found a thing on the technical implementation side that will enable me to do some stuff. One of the things that's really, I think, holding me back is I had a recent idea, so I'm not going to say exactly what it is, but I would need to be able to tie StreamerBot and throwing system together, which is on the roadmap, but they've mentioned they're building that integration, just no word on it in the next update, which is frustrating because calling hotkeys to control things, I run out of hotkeys pretty fast. I needed to be able to directly call throwing actions in the throwing system rather than having like, because then I can do like one action per plushie, and then I can control in StreamerBot, like I can have it check, all right, is it going to throw a Rain World plushie or is it going to throw like a normal plushie? And I can better control like the randomness, because throwing systems UI and options leaves a lot of things to be desired for me when it comes to like the actual triggering part of it. Yeah, sure, you're about to say something in chat and then test for. Yeah, like I know there is also that way. I just like to keep things in the back end as much as I can. That's why like all of my commands and stuff, like I tend to not have a lot of text commands. It's because I don't like, you know, spamming things up in chat for people. Fair enough, integrating things together is curious at times. I'm gonna set things up with voice attack and mix it up, but I'll get there, yo. Man, I can't believe like you and Glottal like tying voice stuff is genius, but also like I can't imagine how finicky that is to calibrate and set up and all those things. All right, back to Purduance. Here the curtains are pulled back. Oh, we already read all that. Moving onwards. We didn't get a chance to charm a servant. Damn. A passage opens up behind the china cabinet, and the procession forms once more. Take a breath and step into the close, stifling darkness, trying not to fall behind as the passage contorts and coils. With each step, the shrieks of hours being spun backwards resonates through your body, leaving you shaking and worn. You spot a figure masked in a featureless black. Their face covered by an oval of polished obsidian. Who are they? Is it an enormous relief to spill out into the evening of the grand ballroom? Everyone finds their place without a murmur, and courtly life is resumed, almost as though the terrors you just experienced never existed. I like masks. I like masquerades. They're a lot of fun. I have been able to participate in a couple, and I actually still have my masks. They're really fun. Usually like the ones that are only covering like eyes and like the forehead, like the half masks kind of thing. A lot of great stuff. A lot of fun. I would love to go and visit during Carnival or something like that. Hanging from the grand ballroom ceiling is a vast Ormolu gaselier, its spidery arms decked with cut crystal drops. It casts soft yellow brightness onto the masked dancers below as they whirl across the polished parquet floor. Music blends with the hum of genteel conversation and the stiff swish of starched crinolines. A half-light mask is in full swing. There's barely room to stand, much less move. Partial success? We're going with the servant. You happen to be nearby when one of the debutantes is caught beneath a table with a servant. As the chaperones are berating them, you realize how mortified the lovers are at being caught in such a déchibel. You shrug off an outer layer and offer it to the servant, who wraps themselves in your garment. They're too mortified for thanks, but another, older servant gives you a grateful nod. We're a person of the people. Listen to the anxious chaperone. Chaperone's request. You must be equally accepted by both debutantes and servants. What is this? Presumptive heiress. One of the blacked out ballroom windows opens to reveal the passage back to the parlor at dusk, or perhaps dawn. The keening of the hours as they are spun backwards makes your legs weak and your heart pound. You feel unaccountably wearied. You spot a figure masked in a featureless black, their face covered by a smooth oval of polished obsidian. Who are they? You enter the parlor through the portrait of the Empress and limp away sore-footed from dancing and stumbling through the dark. Behind you, the members of the court of Purduance chatter and take tea and make ready to begin their day anew. For tonight, every night thereafter, is the half-light mask. Ooh. You've endeared yourself to those who work below. Spending the day at pursuance reduces terror, and depending who you interact with, may grant other rewards. I see. The servant discreetly share their admiration for your kindness and charm. You try not to let it go too much to your head. There's very little competition in the field of kindness to servants here. You leave richer in gossip and soothed by the distractions of the half-light mask. Ooh, some salon-stewed gossip. Nice, nice. Yes, Dreki fancy. Okay, so we have one more, and this time we've done both of the quests. So let's what does a success with this do? Chaperones are not used to visitors taking an interest in them. They are usually passed over in favor of their more elegantly appointed cousins. And indeed, many of them are literal cousins, either impoverished or somehow reduced in society's eyes due to scandal or unfortunate connections. All are past the age of marriage and, at least as far as society is concerned, the age of temptation, and are therefore fit companions to ensure the debutante's dubious chastity. By the end of your conversation, the expressions have relaxed from pinched to merely sour. I see. So we need to walk the balance between the servants and... Alright, so we'll charm a chaperone. A chaperone pushes his food around his plate, while a loud debutante tells an interminable joke. You suspect the chaperone has heard it a great many times. The chaperone soon considers you a fast friend. He deftly inserts you into a lively conversation between several debutantes. He also gives you a subtle signal to the servants, and thereafter you are always served the finest cuts of meat. It is, more or less, like pork. Not many pigs were brought into the sky, of course, but let's call it pork. Also, hi, Kasawa. I hope you're having a good evening. And all the fantastic people are coming out in droves. All right, so I need to keep them balanced. Hey, 3 for 3, baby! You help one break up an assignation between two of their wayward charges. The chaperone's eyes blaze with such indignance. Indignance. You imagine the paste gems at her ears and throat gleam with reflective fury. As you drag the recalcitrant debutantes behind the heavy fuchsia curtains, you notice that the glass of the arched windows behind them is covered in a layer of soot, blocking out any possibility of sunlight. Exhausted, but you're here. Let's listen to the anxious chaperone. I need your help, she says. You're trusted by both servants and debutantes, and that is rare indeed. It inclines me to hope that you may be admirable. Thus I ask for a favor. You're a traveler. I trust something in your care. Without a pause, she pushes her fingers into her own eye socket and pulls the eye out with a wet plop. She holds it out to you expectantly. Or, you expected to take this? Wait, on closer inspection, the eye is glass, although the iris is inlaid with emerald and jet flecked with gold. A family committed themselves to the Brabazon work world to pay off their debts. This will buy years off their service. I beg you, take it to them. You wrap the chaperone's eye in your cuff. Perhaps if you're traveling that way. I see. A jeweled eyeball. Cool. Cool. One of the blacked out ballroom windows opens to reveal the passage back to the parlor at dusk, or perhaps dawn. You think briefly of the weavers and spinners below stairs, working desperately to keep the members of the Pursuant Court caught in the same repeating day. You look around, but the other members of the procession are studiously ignoring those who wear the faceless masks. Their fear is catching. You enter the parlor through the portrait of the Empress and limp away. Alright. Interesting. You are much beloved by the chaperones. I see. What rewards will I get? That's a lot of Salon Studio. Ministry approved. Okay, I thought that was a ministry stamp. Ministry approved literature, whatever. The chaperones are restrained and even-tempered. Their compliments are not effusive, but they are sincere. They hope you'll return. Apparently, you made their task much easier. A number of them write accounts of events at the Mask, which the Ministry of Public Decency publishes as aspirational literature. As a token of their affection, they give a set of proof copies for the next volume. Here to enjoy the Dreki story time. This game is certainly a good one for stories. All right. We can get some crates of nostalgic crockery. Yay. We'll grab it because it's at a discount. Oh, they don't sell fuel here. I see. All right, we need to go to Whirlby to get fuel. Noted. But hey, we solved our fear problem, so that's nice. Seems like an interesting hell. An everlasting day. Eternal youth. But how benign is it, really? Because they can't leave. And they're all people that the Empress has put there. Supposedly, it's just people who are in favor. But are they being rewarded? Or are they hostages? We saw those curious black masked figures. I wonder if I go to Perduance more, if I'll advance a plot line. Oh, fuck that thing! No, thank you. No, thank you. Bye. Bye-bye. You're not going to stick around to find out if that is a friend or foe. Friend, foe? Nay, I choose fuck off. Talk to the nice man. Nah, it's not a flower. It's like a giant sea urchin with an eye instead of a mouth. But with more spines. Homozygote the shit. Oh, I don't like this. See, it looks like a bigger one of these scorn flukes. Hey, goat. I hope you are having a scientific evening. As shenanigans. Never trust anything that looks like it came out of the water. Exactly. Especially if it's not like a strobing sea urchin thing. I need better weapons. I really do. I do like it when it goes for its AoE attack because I am well out of range. Do not overheat. That fuzzy orb looks nice and friendly? No, no, it is not. It is the opposite. It is in fact unfriendly. All right. This will gain otherworldly insight artifacts, and you gain insight into scorn flukes. There's also this that I noticed. I don't want to get nightmares, but if I do, create a wrath of heaven. As you look upon the spasming remains of the scorn fluke, you remember an idea that has seethed into your dreams of late. A contrivance, no, a weapon. The wrath of heaven. I want to make it someday. Have you talked to it? You know, it seems to speak in exploding purple stuff that damages my ship. So I feel like there's a bit of a language barrier going on. Yeah, it's a fuzzy little koosh ball coming to squish you. A little squish my face, all right. Its unhuman music rages and sobs. The polyphonic scream brings your crew to shuddering tears. Discipline keeps them working. They are careful to maintain distance from the oozing grade exudate. In abrupt silence, the remains liquefy and dissipate. Any artifacts remaining are too tainted to gather. Fascinating. But bam! Speaking of awesome people with polyphonic screams? Question mark? I don't know where I was going with that. Homozygote is also a fantastic science person. Great for keeping track of what the sciencey things are going on, especially in the COVID reality we exist in these days, but also other stuff. They also have managed to create quite the menagerie of clips to wow, amaze, and fascinate people with. Always a great time over at the goat. I can try to scream. Join the Song of the Mists. As the final harmony dies with it, peace is restored. Even the memory of the song and your part in its choir fades from memory. Looking down, there is something in your hand. A doll embedded with many small sticks and bound with rope. It has no face, but its stare is no blinker than those on the faces of people surrounding you. I see. Let's queue for a Pauper's Pass. Nope, we didn't make it. All right, so no freebies. Oh, we did get a freebie. All right, so we've done hat, dress, and tailored coat. So let's go with skirt, you know, top to bottom. The couturier calls two old women from a door. Their stained glass eyes nearly as pale as the nacreous filaments of their long white hair, the latter suspended in complicated spirals. They ease you into your selections without fanfare. There's even a martial contempt, as though you're not moving halfway fast enough, gracefully enough. Despite their disdain, they are competent and civil assistants, wholly disinterested in everything from your choice in lace-up trousers to erotic underwear. When you finally dismiss the women, the couturier considers you for a long moment. He turns to a wardrobe, hands you several garments, all your size. And once you're dressed, he dismisses you, shooing you into Warby Juxtamer. Some nonsense to send home. All right, so port report. Done. I don't want to betray the cult. I want to help the cult. All right, so we need... All right, let's explore a tiny lane bedecked with shops. The House of Hugh might be a jewelry store, or it might instead be where one purchases men named Hugh. It is hard to say. Inside it is quiet as a museum, and there are gorgeous men relaxing in roped-off areas, drenched in jewelry. It is not worth risking the scandal. You gab with a pink-cheeked mother instead. I see. Consider the strangeness of the lanes. Nonsense accepted. It is most likely the smiles, maybe. Carnivore expressions, syrupy and gleaming. Faultless mirrors of the courtier's dazzling grin. Or maybe it's the second-rate souvenirs cobbled from haberdashery and children's nightmares. The arsenic aftertaste of the candy floss, the wine wild quality of the local perfumes. Could be anything. Could just be your insecurities, the error of your existence. Whatever the case, the lanes continue their watch. Lightly, of course. Ooh, we got some nectar. We got a savage secret. Some gossip. Let's wander onwards because we're not seeing the most important thing we have to do whenever we visit here. All right. We need to find our rubbery lumps. Our lovely rubbery lumps! Let's go. It tastes precisely as advertised. Hot, rubbery, faintly sweet, with a dash in a marin and a brown sugar. It's got an aftertaste reminiscent of roasted berries, like a memory of better days. Rubbery lumps. Anyway. Let's get the fuck out of here. And bada bing, and ooh. Let's drop some supplies? No, fuel. Fuel is the cheapest. And we have 3.5 is enough to get to London. I do want to explore the cult plot line here more. And there is also Purduance. There's also the thing with the Clockwork Sun. It's interesting that the Clockwork Sun has like heat levels and it's slowly going down. I'm sure that's nothing we need to really worry about. You know, I mean, it's just the sun dimming. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Hydrate. Fine. Fine. I've imbibed your H2O. Now we will stretch. Global cooling to counteract the warming. Yeah, exactly. And really, isn't it for the best? Because the sun is turning people's bones into glass. You know, I feel like that sunlight might be a little dangerous. You know, we have sunlight back on Earth. You just import sunlight from there, right? Time for snack water. Yes. Snack. If it's so dangerous, why do people think? No, Kazara, don't do it! Let's put up some glowstone. So, funny you say that. So, the starting area, the Reach that we were in, its sun is actually dead. But it hasn't succumbed to the inky darkness because all of the plants and stuff in there apparently are so luminescent, it basically is giving off light as well. And it's enough for things to still live, which is kind of interesting. Certainly wonder what the other worlds are going to be like, because we still have 2 to visit. The Blue Kingdom and Eleutheria. Ooh, I'm going to destroy you, men of the street. Monitor one of these days. When I get around to upgrading my damn ship. The Ministry of Public Decency. All right. Okay, turn in our port reports. Good stuff. Let's repair our ship. Full repair, yes, yes, yes. Store our random bullshit in there. I think we need to keep the munitions. Yes, we do. Dried tea, all right. Oh, that's gonna be a great run. A whole bunch of fuel and supplies.